Hi, it's Nancy, welcoming you to Garden Scroll. So this is one thing I did yesterday, and that is to fill this with some mums. Some of them are just clippings from my other mums, and some have a little root. So we'll see how this will be when we look at it this fall. Look at this sweet little clematis, and it's also growing up with this grapevine. And it was all turned to the other side, reaching for the sun, of course. And I went ahead and put those little flowers inside where they would be on my side of the fence, and I could enjoy them more. They probably will turn and go toward the sun again. And there's sun here, but there's also some shade from the evergreen trees. More and more of the peonies are putting on their buds. And my husband went ahead and weed-eated this back fence for me, and I put down some root kill so that hopefully it won't grow over into the garden area. I worked most of the day out here yesterday, and it is amazing how much time it takes to do some just little piddly things that, of course, that help the garden a bit. This little stake needs, look, it's so leaning. I need to get that where it doesn't lean that much, for one thing. And I did anchor this one a bit yesterday. I just put a little piece of rebar down here on it, and I know it probably will lean again, but that is definitely helping it. So we'll see how long it will keep it straight. My efforts to do these little pots and keep them from leaning, however, did not turn out so well. I did put rebar there, and they are slightly more anchored, but they're just not, they're not straight. They're still leaning quite a bit. I don't know if I can do better with that or not. We'll see in the future. Not today, because I'm going to take a little bit of a break, because it is the last day of March, and tomorrow is Easter, and I know it'll all be over by the time you get to see this. But you may want to look back and see how it was as we keep going, and I'll put the garden pictures in order as they happen in the garden, so you can see all of it, or most all of it, as it just shortly or very close to when it actually happened. It won't be the exact date. It will be a few weeks after I actually take the pictures and the little clips, so that when they put them together, when I put them together and make the story, hopefully make the storyline, hopefully you'll get a good storyline of a beautiful garden. And I did go ahead and fill this little pot with some more sedum, and I put the same kind that it had in it. This little clump right here came back wonderfully, but you can tell these are a little wilty right now, all the rest of them. But if they take root and begin to grow and fill out, it's going to be fine. It's going to look good, I think. Now this one, I think I probably need to put just a little bit more in the back part of it, but it's looking good as far as in the front. And I did move my little black mondo grass to the center of this little strawberry pyramid that I'm using for flowers. I planned to get all of these little pots taken care of yesterday with succulents and sedums in them, but as you can see, only one of them actually got done, and that's this one right here. And I took the rest of the little plants that I didn't use in my new window box. Of course, this is the old one, which I'll get rid of, but I'm going to save that dirt or soil and use it somewhere else. But you know, this is the little window box that I put in this gate planter, and put the little angel back in, and she's looking good. And I did go ahead and transplant some more of this little hosta to hopefully fill up this whole little pot. I don't know if you noticed this little angel laying prostrate on this bench over here in one of my video clips, but she was there because I had glued her little bodice back together and was letting her dry, and that didn't really work that well. It was still so loose, but I broke it apart totally, and I thought, I hope I don't ruin this. And luckily it was just perfect to put some that sealant, foam sealant, inside it and put her back together and let that dry, and now she's solid and will last a while longer in the garden. This little angel had fallen off the winds, I guess, and she had got the Gorilla Glue that I use had gotten brittle and the winds blew her off. But she has new Gorilla Glue on, and she's sitting there ready for me to fill up her pot. And right as I was telling you that, somehow I imagined a cosmos in this pot, just with its little blooms just kind of bebopping in the air right above her there. So I may try to do that too. I may go ahead and put some other thing in her too. We'll see how that goes as I get busy with getting stuff from the nurseries. I'm not quite ready to do that yet. I want to go ahead and move some things around my succulents and get some of my pots that I'm not planning on putting the annuals from the nurseries in. And I did order a few more perennials for the garden, so I will like to get those in as soon as I can. I just love it when these little thundercloud sedum make this beautiful full mound in a pot. It's looking so good this season. This is one of my first peonies to bloom, and it probably won't be long now before it begins to pull apart the green and reveal the color. And I believe this one is called Coral Charm, or Hawaiian Coral Charm. And I did put some rebar around this pole. This is my little pole that I keep my cat decoration on. And I went ahead and put some more of this. I realized that this is going to get wet when I water, and I'm going to have this around it to help protect it from just rotting out. And maybe we'll just see how much longer this little pole might last with that as an aid. So I also did not get these planted, but as I've been walking around today, I'm looking at an area, at the areas where I might find a spot to put them. This little one, I found out, is, since it's a gift hydrangea, it's a smaller hydrangea, and it's hardy, but it's one of those that they call a soft hardy, which means it may or may not make it through the winter. So it suggested to put it in a place where it would be protected. So I'm looking for that, and then I'm looking for a spot for these also, as I just haven't figured out where I want them yet. But what I did do is I put little clippings. Some of them have a little bit of a root, but most of them are just clippings of the sedum in these pots, so that they will fill out. Hopefully they'll have a good chance while it's still cool and they can put their little roots down. And I did the same over here to these little window boxes. I put some little clippings in them. And I glued a few things back on, like this one of these little squirrels was knocked over, but he's back up and hopefully he'll be there for a good long while, maybe for all the season. I also did spray some of my pampas grass, and I'm hoping I didn't kill it out, except this one. I want to kill the one, well, I want to keep the one closest to the road and kill out the one up here because it's just getting way too big to handle. And of course I did the same thing to this one. I sprayed it, and hopefully this one will keep going. And I previously had a little green bush, like a barberry type, or may have even been a barberry. It was the beautiful, like yellow green, like the color of this creeping Jenny here. But it died out, and I think the reason it died out was because of the shade of this pampas grass. So I thought about putting my little hydrangea there, but I'm just not sure that would be a protected enough spot for it. So I may hold this area open for something else. I also had glued one of these little pots back together, and I did, or not pots, but birdhouses, and I went ahead and put these up. I did take a few of these little bells of Ireland up and put them in different spots. I don't know if they will make it. It says that they have a hard time transplanting, but I've got them to do it, especially when it's damp and still cool from a rain, and actually our weather hasn't gotten hot yet, so that's a good thing. And look, these are some new seedlings coming up. I don't know if there's something different or if they're just more of the bells of Ireland coming up here, which either one would be great. And these little seeds are just coming up like crazy, which makes me think they're probably oh my goodness, I'm doing a lot of today. I think they probably are petunias, but I don't know. I did put a lot of poppy seed and things in here that I'm hoping I'll have some of, but there's nothing wrong with petunias either. I also took some of this bleeding hearts plant. I just clipped a little piece off and put it in root powder, and I'm gonna try to get it started in this little pot right over here. So I thought it would look really nice if I could get it going, and I'm not sure that I'll be able to, but I'm certainly gonna give it a try. It's just, you know, just a little piece of a plant, so it'll have to grow a root, but hopefully it will. And wouldn't that be pretty in the spring to have this, which is a perennial and has been coming back, and then have this bleeding heart vine grown up at least as tall as this little angel, maybe even more so, and just fill out, and I think that would be beautiful. I have tried it before though, and it didn't make it, so we'll see. This is another little pot where I did go ahead and put in a few more of the Angelina sedum. I have been out here just singing some praises and just basically rejoicing that the garden is now cleaned out. And you know, I think that's a way it's going to be in heaven too. Like we're going to be struggling, especially sometimes death is ugly. All time death is ugly, but sometimes it comes with so much pain and just so much grief, and it's just a terrible thing. But when we get to heaven, all that is going to be gone. It's just going to be totally gone. We might remember that it happened, but we're not going to be thinking about that. We're just going to be thinking that we made it, and just look how this garden made it through. And I'm so glad it did, and I'm so happy, even though I was so miserable cleaning it out, and my health was so bad when I was trying to do it, but it's different now. Of course, that's not to say that even this little piddly kind of stuff of fixing things and transplanting things and doing all those kinds of jobs, they still got me extremely tired. There's 2 days that I did it in a row, and that first day I just couldn't hardly make it to bed. I was so tired. But the next day wasn't nearly as bad, and that's when I finally got my plants ordered. You know, after the sun goes down and you can't work in the garden, but I still had enough energies to do some of the ordering, and I had waited so long that some of my plants were no longer available. I hate those 3 words when I'm ordering, but probably a good thing too, as my husband was over there saying, how many plants are you going to order? Please be sure to like and to subscribe to the channel.